Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to be showing you how to make an apple crumble tart. So as I show you how, please sit back, relax with a cup of tea in hand, putting those feet up too, and enjoy this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Apple crumble happens to be an often forgotten favourite of the British Isles, combining crunchy, crumbly pastry with sweet, spiced and tangy apples, rounded off with a rich, hot custard. To many, that sounds just like perfection, but we urge you to lend us your ears and eyes as we show you how we evolve this British classic to reach new heights. This is an apple crumble tart, which consists of all of the core elements that make a crumble, encasing them all this time around in crisp, short crust pastry. Step by step, we'll walk you through our recipe before crowning things off with a session of tasting at the end. So, with all of that being said, please, with your interest peaking, sit back, relax, and allow us to introduce the ingredients to you. For today's Brilliantly British apple crumble tart, you will need some heavy cream, some brown sugar, some white sugar, a lemon, some sour apples, some vanilla paste, some nutmeg, cinnamon, eggs, full fat milk, corn flour, plain white flour, some butter, and a little pinch of salt to avoid the occurrence of bland food. And that, my friends, is all, yes, all you will need for today's Brilliantly British apple crumble tart. But before you get started, before you do anything at all, please switch on your kettle, brew yourself a nice cup of hot tea so that you can sip on that whilst you bake. To begin preparing an apple crumble tart by hand in a bowl or in a food processor, in my case, first homogenize flour, sugar and salt, and then incorporating cold diced butter, which should be followed with the addition of an egg and, if necessary, 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold water. The dough should then be turned out onto your work surface and kneaded for a minute or so to bring the dough together, following the step by freezing half of the dough for later on and rolling out the remaining half on a floured surface until large enough to comfortably blanket and be tucked into your tart pan. Then, with the excesses trimmed away, following a few gentle adjustments and fork pricks to the base and sides, rest the pan in your fridge to set before baking. After resting with the oven preheated, prepare the pastry for blind baking by lining with baking paper, weighed down by baking beans or rice before sliding into your oven to bake. After an initial stint of blind baking, you'll then want to simply uncover the pan and return to your oven to cook fully and bake uncovered. Now, with the twice baked tart case set to one side, to prepare the rich custard filling, begin by gently heating a mixture of heavy cream and milk with a pinch of salt, and in parallel a mixture of egg yolks, corn flour and vanilla, whisking well until lump free. Then, with the pot's contents just beginning to steam, begin to temper the custard base as you stir constantly, before returning the mixture to your pot to cook while being stirred constantly over a medium-low heat. With time, the custard should cook and thicken, with it being transferred to a bowl, jug or container to cool completely as you attend to the other elements of the tart. To prepare the apple filling, in a medium hot pan of molten butter, turn in and cook diced apples with a sprinkle of salt, cinnamon, brown sugar and nutmeg, stirring immediately afterwards before adding in a welcome splash of lemon juice. After taking a moment to begin preheating your oven, the apples should be cooked over a medium-high heat, uncovered until tender with some residual liquid remaining. at which point your source of heat should be turned down before incorporating a corn flour slurry, cooking the contents further thereafter until the residual liquid thickens. Once visibly thicker and glossy, proceed by only removing half of the apples from the pan to be momentarily set aside, with the rest of the contents being blended to form a delicious spiced apple base, into which the formerly removed cooked diced apples should be mixed in before readying yourselves for the tart's assembly. Into the recalled tart base, turn in all of the apple filling, followed by your custard. After having grated a portion of your now frozen half of pastry dough, bedeck the tart with the pastry shavings before returning to your oven to bake to perfection. Meanwhile, as the tart bakes, having worked so hard thus far, take the time to relax with a cup of tea in one hand and Brilliantly British content in the other, making sure to help us out, of course, by liking and subscribing. Thank you. Once baked, the tart should appear modest with an appetizing aroma, and well, after having left it to cool completely, I think visually at least the results speak for themselves. So now, with a fresh apple crumble tart made and your interest peaking, I think it's high time for tasting, tasting, tasting. Are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. Okay, the verdict is in and it's splendid. The custard has the perfect consistency. It is still a sauce and not a really set sauce. It just very slowly oozes out of this slice that I have here in front of me, which of course helps to lubricate and flavor and enhance all of the other elements of this tart. Of course, there's the punch from the cinnamon, there's the sour, sweet flavor from the apple, classic apple crumble flavors, and not to mention, of course, the apple crumble top, which truly is crumbly, crunchy, crispy, textured, period. And all of this, as you've seen in the episode, has been encased in a lovely short crust pastry. It's beautiful. And I'd say it's on par with the more classic traditional apple crumble. And for those of you that are actually lazy, this is perhaps even easier because the sauce, the filling, the crumble is all encased in one piece. So you're welcome. So look, with all of that being said, please go out, get the few simple ingredients and make this apple crumble tart, please. Thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make an apple crumble tart. Knowing that you loved this episode, don't forget to click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Tell everyone, and I mean everyone, that you know about the Brilliantly British food on this channel, and follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on, and I will see you